This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, was popping? It's your boy. Excuse my voice. I was probably doing a lot of yelling last night at my phone because I was watching the game from the road as the Knicks got demolished by the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was a bad performance last night, Tony. Terrible performance. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. The defense was non-existent. You know what I'm saying? Non-existent. 77 points at half. 77. Was that the second highest?
50, right? Yeah.
77 to 50 at half. I think that's the second highest they scored.
91 against the Mavs they had.
Yeah. You can't be a contender giving up 77 points at the half, giving up 142 points. I don't care if the Knicks scored their average last night. They wouldn't win the game. But they still only scored 105 points. Yeah, I don't know what to say about last night's game. It was bad all the way around.
Both teams coming off a back-to-back.
Right? So that was even. The Knicks had to travel, but not that far. Right?
You know, the Cavs are living in their moment right now. You know what I mean? And you know, just with some perspective, Donovan Mitchell wanted to be here, thought he was gonna be here.
Right.
Now he got that. Now that the dust is settled, he knows where he's staying, where he's gonna be. Now he's competing. You know what I mean? He's competing against us. He's trying to destroy us.
And he is. Not just him, but the top teams and the top teams in the NBA are destroying the Knicks, and we're going to talk about that. But just a little more focus on last night's game. The total obliteration. The defense looked like it could be the worst defense in the league. We already got the worst 3-point shooting defense in the league, right? 17th in the NBA and overall defense. Top 5 offense. But if you can't stop anyone, you're going to get out, a good team like the Cavs, like Boston, like OKC, they're going to score points. If you can't stop them, you'll get blown out every time. You know what I mean? And last night, it was like there was nothing the Knicks could do. You know what I mean? They shot an incredible percentage, 62%, something like that from the field last night. And there was literally nothing the Knicks could do to stop them from scoring. And I think that's got to be, the biggest concern for Knicks fans right now, that the Knicks can't. When they need to get a stop, they can't. You know what I mean? And I just don't. We can't win that way. There's no way. They shot 60.9, basically 61% from the field last night.
Yeah, at one point they were shooting 77%. I looked up in it.
That's crazy.
Like they're shooting. It was the first half. 77%.
77%.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. They shot 51% from the 3-point line. Right? And then to make matters even worse, They out-rebounded the Knicks by double digits,
Ooh.
47-32. And for a team that shot 61% from the field, they managed to get 11 offensive rebounds. And they were shooting a high percentage, and they still got 11 offensive rebounds with not a lot of offensive rebounds to go around. They got 11. The Knicks got
9. They took a page out of our book from when we beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's still. I know it was 2 years ago, but I think that still is a memory fresh in their head on how we beat them. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we didn't look like we came to play. I didn't see the whole game. Like I told you off air, I've been fortunate enough to not see any of the blowouts in their entirety because I've been working.
Fortunate enough, yeah.
But at the
You're right.
It's jaded my perspective, right? Because I didn't visually see these losses. I don't think I have the same anguish as the most of the fan base. But what I saw from this game was by far the worst out of the bits and pieces of all the blowout losses we've had. This looked like this was the worst one. But I also think there's some context that we can't get lost in. I mean, OG first game back, he looked rusty from what I saw.
Right.
He didn't, you know what I mean? Like he looked like he still got to get his footing and everything back. I think a huge. If you ask me the MVP of the series that we dominated against the Cavs, in my opinion, that was Mitchell Robinson.
Okay.
I think we don't even win that series without him, let alone dominate the way we did at that time. I also think that fueled them, and they've gotten a lot better, especially their bigs in the 2 years since then. But I think we need Mitchell Robinson against them 100%. So again, just some context. Hopefully, if we face them in the playoffs, you know what I mean, which is a long shot considering the way the schedule is and the seedings are. I think
we wouldn't face it.
Yeah, until the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah.
But I think we would need him, and by then hopefully he would be more, or obviously he hasn't played yet, but be polished a little bit and acclimated. So it's a horrible loss. You know what I mean? This is not an excuse. This is not me saying, oh, we can and will beat them. But I do think there's some context. You know what I mean? Josh Hart not playing.
Right.
And I do think they have a chip on their shoulder against us, not just the series that we beat them.
Naturally.
You know what I mean? You talk about the last year's season series. You know what I mean? You had Josh Hart, Papa Donovan, Mitchell Chade on the bench. Like we was dominating them last year and the year before. So they got it out for us 100%.
Yeah. That's the truth. They got it out for us 100%. And I can understand us losing the game, right? I can understand that with no Josh Hart, with no Mitchell Robinson, OG just coming back. But that bad? A 42-point lead at some point during the game? I don't know. We got to have more pride than that. A 42 they had a 42-point lead. And sometimes the team just gets hot. I can admit that, right? Sometimes a team gets hot. So, they shot 61% from the field. That's ridiculous. And they don't normally shoot 61% from the field, right? They're not that good of a shooting team. They shot 51% from the 3-point line. Right? They don't. That's not the norm. But is that also a testament to our defense not being good?
Shout out to Chop Low in the chat. He says the Cavs coaching staff also. One thing that I will say about the coaching staff, they did bring Johnny Bryant over there. He may be able to pinpoint, some shortcomings of individual players,
Of course.
maybe some, things he knows about Tibbs that he could,
Hmm.
influence and give little pointers about. So yeah, I mean that could be a huge factor as well.
No, that's without a doubt. That is a huge factor. You know what I mean? He's gonna know some things at least. Now, obviously, it's kind of a new team with Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, so he doesn't have all of that intel. But um, even I mean, maybe he has some inside stuff, but beyond that, every team knows like what the other teams are doing, right? You know what I mean? They know it's all on video. They know what's going on.
That's a fact. But I mean, like intricate details
Yeah,
or things that
really,
something that might make Tibbs tick or something that
right.
might, what I mean, he just from an inside point of view of, what I mean, we Knicks fans, we point out little lack of adjustments such and such. I'm sure Johnny Bryant saw a lot more in his time here, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean, that he could be like, all right, he doesn't really do this well, or he hasn't really figured out this, you know what I mean? So just little things, but those things add up. You know what I mean? When you take little advantage here, little advantage here, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? It could add up in the long run.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
P. Duggar.
Shout out to B Duggar, man. Thank you for the super chat. He said, I simply laugh at people that think Cat can be a championship level 5. Ridiculous. Minnesota showed with getting Rudy that Cat is clearly a top level 4. So silly. Well, he's playing 5 for us right now. Doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever because we do have Mitchell Robinson coming back. Now, for this season, he might be at the 5, but as long as Mitchell Robinson is healthy for next season, maybe that changes. Will it look similar to Minnesota? Maybe, but also a little bit different because Mitch doesn't spread the floor by shooting, but he spreads it through the alley-oop threat, the lob threat, which also spreads the floor in a different way. It spreads the floor by penetrating to the basket, right? So now teams got to dip in, which opens up the corners, which opens up the wings where, a guard like Jalen Brunson can find can find open shooters. So uh so it gives us a dynamic that Minnesota didn't really have with Rudy Gobert, I think. So while I don't know, I mean, can he be a championship level 5? I mean, he probably can, but is that going to be this way with the Knicks in the long run? I don't think so. Man, I think as long as Mitchell Robinson stays healthy, he'll become that starter again next to Karl Anthony Towns. And people may not believe in that in the the Twin Towers approach, but in this situation, because Karl Anthony Towns shoots the 3 so well, Mitchell Robinson can defend the perimeter some. I think it can work.
And just looking at it from a matchup perspective against this particular team we're talking about, I think Mitchell Robinson in that starting 5 next to Cat balances things out a little
Oh
bit.
yeah,
Again, this is not me putting him as the savior or any. I'm just talking about lineup wise, man for man, 2 7-footers, 2 7 foot. You know what I mean? Like it just helps us match up a little better.
yeah,
And that's one of the things that I think we got to figure out too. I don't know if Mitchell Robinson needs to be the starting center full time, but I do think against certain matchups, it probably would be an advantage or help balance things out.
yeah, yeah. P. Duggar again said, so sad to see us being outcoached by a staff. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what that means. Outcoached by a staff. Are you saying outcoached by Johnny Bryant? So are you saying that Kenny Atkinson's not doing the coaching?
Or maybe he's saying collective.
A collective? Listen, I don't think last night was due to being out coached. I'm sorry. Come
He
on.
got outplayed.
It wasn't due to being out coached. I know people want to blame Tibbs for everything. I dig it. I get it. Last night wasn't about being out coached. We just got good old fashioned ass whooping. What more can you say about that? Right? I mean, we got smacked. We got smacked. You know what I mean? I don't think it had to do with being out coached at all. You know, now if I'll say this, if Tony said you said the Knicks didn't look like they came to play, which I agree. If you want to put that on Tibbs, I agree with that. Right? You put that on Tibbs because it's Tibbs' job. It's Tom Thibodeau's job to make sure the guys are ready to play every night. Now, the players got to do some things themselves, but you know, you got to make sure the players are prepared. You got to, you know, you got the right strategy, so on and so forth. But you got to get out there on the floor. You got to stop somebody. Tom Thibodeau's not getting off the bench to stop somebody. If Tom Thibodeau gets off the bench to try to stop somebody, he'll have a heart attack. So I don't know. I don't, you know, I don't know what you want. The Knicks aren't not as good as the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, my man Josh says, I think we can beat Cleveland in a 7-game series. I don't think we can beat Boston. They have too much firepower and depth, and Cleveland doesn't. They scored 142 points against us last night, Josh.
I do think their depth. They're not as deep as the Celtics. I do think.
I don't. With the DeAndre Hunter, I don't know.
I like that the fact that I thought they was putting DeAndre Hunter in the starting lineup. The fact that they have him coming off the bench, I think that helps them depth wise. I thought if they were starting Hunter, I thought that was gonna hurt them depth wise with the pieces they lost 2-for-1 and everything. But the fact that they're utilizing him in that second unit, I do think that does help their depth.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and he's used to coming off the bench, right? He was already coming off the bench in Atlanta, so it's not like it's a big change for him. He's just doing it for a better team now. You know, I don't know. I mean, Cleveland has a lot of depth, right? You know, a lot of depth, and guys that can come in and, you know, guys that can come in and give you double digits. They were talking about it on the telecast last night. You know, guys that can come in, you know, so many guys, 12 guys that can come in and give you double digits every time they step on the floor consistently. You know, they got a lot of depth. You know what I mean? Isaac Okoro used to be a starter for them. Now, they wasn't that good when he was a starter. But he comes off the bench. You know, Dean Wade can come in and give you double digits. I mean, they got a lot of guys that can get it done. It's I don't know. They
and
right now they look scary. They look scary right now.
I will say this too about their depth. Like you made a good point with former starters now being bench players. That actually does increase. That does strengthen their bench, right? These are capable starters that are, you know, now relegated to the second unit where they could excel, and they kind of exceed in their roles. You know what I mean? You mentioned Dean. What's his name? Dean Wade. He's a shooter, right? He excels in his role. If you have him doing something they're not putting anybody in a position to have to do more than what they're capable of.
Right.
Is you know what I mean? So now it does strengthen their depth in that sense that nobody has to step outside themselves. Nobody has to do more, which I think 2 years ago they were asking guys to do more than they were kind of capable of. And now that they have a lesser role and it's a lot easier to excel at. So
Yeah.
I agree in that sense. That nobody has to play outside themselves.
Right. Right. LV Shore said Josh is smoking bricks. Cavs are for real. I think they're coming out. I think they're coming out and winning the whole thing. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that they come out and win the whole thing. You know what I mean? I mean, OKC's gonna have something to say about that. Boston too. P. Duggar again, thank you for the super chat. He said, "What I mean by it's seven. What I mean by it's 7 coaches involved every time out instructing, correcting. We have 1 coach talking like a broken record, ball movement and rebound." I mean, the only thing I can say to that is we're not on the bench, so we don't know exactly how things are going and what's happening there. That's all I can say. Like we don't know until you sit on the bench. I don't think you can really say what's happening on the bench until you actually sit there on the bench. You know what I mean? You know, last night was a rough one. And I feel like it brought a realization to me last night. Right? I can't even. It brought a realization to me that the Knicks were just not as good as these teams. We're not as good as Boston. We're not as good as Cleveland. We're not as good as OKC.
I think that's where the buck stops, though. Like a lot of people out there is like, "Oh, we can't beat the elite team." It's 3 teams. Let's what I mean. Let's keep it a buck. It's 3 teams,
It's 3 teams.
and let's just keep that in perspective. You know what I mean? We're the 4th best team, maybe 5th best team in the league. That's still
Right.
a good spot. You know what I mean? We got to figure out those 3 teams, and not necessarily all at once. You know what I mean? Like we got to figure them out individually.
Right.
We get a chance tomorrow.
I mean, right now, I think we're the 4th best. It's Cleveland, OKC, Boston.
Us.
We have the same record as Memphis and Denver, but we beat those teams. Right, so we should be the 4th best in the league.
Yes.
In the league. We got to figure. Yeah, I mean, you're right. We got to figure out how to beat Cleveland, how to beat Boston, how to beat OKC. Can we beat them when we're fully healthy? Because last night, obviously, Mitchell Robinson hasn't been here throughout the season. Last night, Mitchell Robinson nor Josh Hart played. Do you think we can compete with these teams when fully healthy?
I think we can. The thing is, I don't think we win against those teams the same way. I think we got to beat each of those teams differently, if that makes sense. So that's what I mean. Like we got to figure them out, but we got to figure them out individually. It's not it may look like the same problem. Oh, the 3-point shot, we give it up threes. The defense, it may look like the same issues are the cause in each, you know what I mean, against these teams. But I think we got to beat them in different ways. I think Mitchell Robinson being more of a strength against the Cavs. You know what I mean? I think OG and Bridges have to do more against the Celtics. You know what I mean? OKC, that first game, I really felt like we had that. Like that one, you know what I mean? I thought Brunson, you know what I mean? He shot us out. He went away from the team. So for OKC, I think it has to be a collective. I think we have to use our, all our pieces against OKC, Mitchell Robinson included. You know what I mean? Like, but I think I'm not saying we could beat them all, but you know what I mean? We got to figure them out individually because it's not going to be the same formula for each one of those teams.
For each team, right? And I guess the thing about OKC is we really don't have to worry about them right now. We've played them twice already. We've lost to them twice. Should have won the first one. Got blown out at the Garden, right? But
If
we don't
we
have to worry about them right now.
exactly, we gotta get through those two teams to even think about OKC.
Think
You know
about
what I mean? We gotta get to the finals to even think about OKC. So we
Right.
can scratch that right there. You know what I mean? All right, we lost the two to them. One was competitive, one wasn't. Boom. All right, we don't gotta worry about that. Yeah, I agree. We gotta figure out
We got to figure out
tomorrow.
Right, we got to figure out tomorrow. We got to figure out tomorrow. Right now, the Knicks are 0-6 against the top 3 teams in the league.
7, I think.
We've lost to Boston twice.
Yeah.
Lost to Boston twice.
I think this wasn't the third Cleveland game.
Second Cleveland game.
Oh, okay. So 0-6.
Yeah, 0-6 against the top 3 teams in the league.
Oh, okay.
And
somebody said 0-7 because they said we're gonna lose tomorrow.
Yo, I mean, the Knicks are gonna fight tomorrow. They're gonna come out and battle. But it's not even the 0-6. It's the fashion in which we've lost.
Blowouts, yeah. Non-competitive.
Lost to Boston twice by 30 plus. Lost to Cleveland once by what we lost last night.
37, right?
Yeah, 37. Got blown out by OKC. So we had 2 tight games against them. And you can look at those games and say, well, those games were the exception because we've been blown out. You can say those games were the exception. You know what I mean? Oh, man. I don't know. Fully healthy, though. Can we really compete with them fully healthy?
And I think it boils down to not this year, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like when you again you start putting perspective or context, how polished do you expect Mitchell Robinson to be, right? To me, it's a bonus to have him, but it's unfair to have him as the savior. You know what I mean? So, like I keep saying, I said it a couple weeks ago. We got to enjoy the ride. I know it's tough to be positive and happy after a smackage like that. You know what I mean? But this is year one. You know what I mean? This is year one of the window being open.
Mm.
And we know the defense is not where it's supposed to be. Like we know there's flaws.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And those teams are ahead of the curve. They've been together collectively for a lot longer. So I mean, I wouldn't put us as favorites to beat them. You know what I mean? But we got to learn. We got to figure them out. You know what I mean? We got to figure ourselves out.
I don't know if figuring them. I don't know if figuring them out happens this year, though. I guess that's.
I agree.
This year,
I agree.
Happens this year. It's going to have to be. It's going to have to be next year. Because
if I'm a betting man, I'm saying next year.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I'm not gonna discount the fact that can we go on a Atlanta Hawks type run? Why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
I mean, it's possible, not likely. Let's say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's possible, but not likely.
I ain't betting on it, but
Right? You know what I mean? Um, because of the defense, right? If we were a good defensive team, and our losses to them were all close, even if we were 0-6, but they were all close. I say, you know what? All we got to do is figure out how to get over the hump. We got to figure out how to make the games close,
hmm
right? Figure out how to make the games close, and then figure out how to win. Here's the thing, like with Boston, okay, this is going to be a game that you can look at and say this is the team, right? We're either going to be, you know, not this is the team, but this is a game where if the Knicks are competitive, you can look at it and say, all right, maybe they can compete. But after this one, they don't play them again for a while till like April. That game might not be worth
Means,
anything.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if we win that one, you know what I mean, and they don't have anybody playing or whatever it is, it's not going to be worth anything. This this game coming up tomorrow is the game where the Knicks can make a statement. I don't know. I don't know if they can make a statement tomorrow against the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Because now you would think that they're coming off of this loss, getting smacked, getting blown out, and they're going to show some pride, right? They're going to have tons of pride tomorrow versus Boston. That's what you would think. But I don't know, right? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to point out, if you see below me, you'll see it says nbkfam.app. If you get a chance, just go check that out. You know what I mean? It's something new that we're building. And you'll be able to find every single NBK show on this site/app, and there's also some new merchandise on there. So, go check it out. nbkfam.app. Still in development. You know what I mean? But there's some things on there you might like. So just go check it out when you get a chance. nbkfam.app, and watch the growth of this application right here. It's gonna be dope. I can guarantee it. You know what I mean? There's some things in the background already happening that people are gonna like. So go check that out. nbkfam.app. Go ahead, Tony. You was about to say something.
I actually lost my train of thought, but I'm excited about the launch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, go check out the app, nbkfam.app.
Yep. And it's in growth right now. It's in its most basic form, but we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it happening and moving. I don't know, man. I think with the addition of Mitchell Robinson, we compete better with OKC. I'm sorry, with Cleveland for sure. Right, with the addition of Mitchell Robinson because of the size. Right now you have two guys, that can compete with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Right, so that definitely makes a difference. I just don't know if defensively we can compete with them. You know what I mean? I don't know if we can stop them defensively. And, that's obviously a concern. Mitchell Robinson adds to the defense. Is he going to be the savior of the defense? Probably not. Because first of all, you don't know how much time he's going to get when he does come back. You got to work him into. You got to work him into all the schemes. You got to figure out how to use him and Cat together. There's a lot that's going to have to happen when he does come back.
The good thing is, not the good thing. The one thing is we got to worry about his timing and getting that right defensively.
Right.
On a positive side, I guess, because he's not a shooter. You know what I mean? He's not really an offensive threat other
Mhm.
than the lob. We don't got to worry about him getting his offensive timing together. You know what I mean? Like, I think the lobs, the putbacks, and all that should come within a week. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to take too long for him to get that part down. So we don't got to worry about that. And sometimes his presence alone may be able to help in areas. You know what I mean, as a deterrent, not
Right.
necessarily as a you know what I mean. He may not have his timing blocking shots, but just his presence may be a deterrent at the rim a little bit. So, but we gotta be patient because it's gonna, you know what I mean. It's gonna take time to, like you said, to everybody get accustomed to him getting his win, everything else.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess looking at it now, you know, the, we thought the Knicks were contenders, right? We thought. Do you see them as contenders right now?
Fringe.
Okay, fringe, fringe. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, it, like I keep saying, it's the window. You know what I mean? Like, it, nobody does it in the first year.
hmm
Number one, you know what I mean? Like, we could say this is the first year of the newly constructed team.
hmm
Um, it's growing pains. Like, I'm here for the long haul, so I ain't gonna jump out the window. This ain't this doesn't feel like it's not sustainable. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is our shot. If we don't win it, it's
right,
over.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean? It feels like we're gonna get better over time.
right.
So
Yeah,
um it's a window, you know what I mean? Like,
nah, no doubt about
the
that. P.
odds
Doug,
go up next year.
P. Duggar, thank you for the super chat. He said the Nets compete against Cleveland Wednesday. This is Tibbs. Okay, let's put something in perspective. The Cleveland Cavaliers have losses, right? I mean, every team in the league has losses. It's
And who
that's
do you think
nonsensical. Sorry.
who do you think the Cavs got up for more?
Right,
Who do you think the day before they was like, yo, we playing the Nets tomorrow. Let's go. Or, yo, we playing the Knicks tomorrow. Let's, like, who did they try to send a message against?
right,
And if there was a team they took lightly, who was it? The
right.
Knicks or the Nets?
And which team were they playing when they just came out of break? You know what I'm saying? Um, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it happens like that in the NBA. Now, over the long haul, can the Knicks beat the Cavs? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about a 7-game series, I know Josh thinks the Knicks can. I'm not so sure because I think they have a lot of depth. Their scoring is, you know, on point. They got chemistry, all that kind of stuff, and we're still figuring those things out. The depth part, of course, you know, you know, the chemistry part and all of that. You know what I mean? P. Duggar said, "No, Tony. This is year 6 for Tibbs. He chose this roster. This is Tibbs's guys. All I hear is Tibbs. Tibbs is awful. Um, listen, whatever year it is for Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks have gotten better every year. That's all I'm gonna tell you, P. Duggar. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah, Vaughn, you're right. It's year 5. It doesn't happen overnight. But every year the Knicks have gotten better,
And the roster's gotten better.
and the roster's gotten better. You know what I'm saying? Now there are areas with this roster that need improvement. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what are we doing? Every loss, you can't want to fire the coach every loss. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks are what 37-19 now. fifth, fourth in the NBA. But let's fire the coach. But let's fire the coach because our roster isn't as good as the 3 teams above us. And it's not that our front office hasn't been putting together a roster. They have. Let's not forget where we started. Let's not forget where we started. Mitchell Robinson is the only player remaining from that 2021 team now, right? Just Mitch. Let's not forget where this team started when this regime took over, when Tom Thibodeau and this regime took over. Don't forget that. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get too above ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I feel like that's what we're doing. We're getting above ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we're still we came from the doldrums of decades of suckiness.
Not even mediocrity.
Not even mediocrity. Right? We were happy to be a mediocre team. That's where we came from. We were happy to be mediocre. You know what I'm saying? Now we're on the brink of being able to contend with a couple more pieces, and you know what I mean. We want to, we want to change it all up. It's crazy.
And I just hate the narrative of, people mad because we support the coach. Like,
right.
When it came to getting a coach, he wasn't my first choice. Like, I honestly wanted Kenny Atkinson at the time. You know what I mean? But I gotta be thrilled with the job he's done. You know what I mean? he was on my list of coaches. Let me clarify that part. You know what I mean? He just wasn't my first choice. But still, like, he's done a great job. The track record is the track record. And part of the problem with the Knicks previously was, again, paying coaches, firing them. Paying coaches, firing them. Like, he hasn't done anything to warrant him being fired. You know what I mean? He hasn't done anything. He's been successful all but 1 year. You know what I mean? And it's been continued growth for the team.
Right.
Has Tibbs I think he's grown a little bit, you know what I mean? Like small steps. You know what I mean? But he is who he is as a coach. Yeah. You gotta accept that.
Yeah. So Vaughn said, honestly, we were told that Tom was the foundation layer to bring the organization to stability. He did that. Now we need a great coach to get us over the hump, as Tom is a good coach. Who's that great coach? That's what I want to know. Who's the great coach?
That's available as well.
That's available, right? Who's that great coach that you're going to get? That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? Escape artist said, we're talking about losses to teams we got to go through to win a chip. We don't even look like we belong in the NBA against the top teams. You're right. We're talking about losses to teams you got to go through to get a chip. This is year one of this brand new team. I'm sorry. You can say what you want. This is year one of this team. Like it or not, because it's a brand new basketball team. And people will say we bullshitting and all of that. No, we're not. This is year one of this new team. Look at Cleveland's roster. Tell me how much tenure is on that roster. Look at Boston's roster. Tell me how much tenure is on that roster. Look at OKC's roster. Tell me how much tenure is on that roster. You know what I'm saying? These guys have tenure on their team. D. Mitch is what, his third year there? This is third season. Darius Garland was drafted there. Evan Mobley was drafted there. Jared Allen's been there for 4 years or something like that. Dean Wade's been there. Isaac Okoro's been there. Like, these guys have tenure on that basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
We know Boston, how long those guys have been there. Mitchell Robinson is our longest tenured player. Brunson's been here for 3 years. Josh Hart's been here for 2,
2.5.
2.5,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got Deuce has been here since he was a rookie.
Yeah, do some Mitch.
Right? Everybody else is this year or a year and a half. Right? You know, you want us to put things in perspective about Tom Thibodeau, put that in perspective about this roster and the teams that we're losing to. It makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? It makes a big difference. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about how good a team is or can be. You know, you need a little bit of tenure. You need some time to grow as a team. You need some time after making a trade like the Knicks made, where you traded away 2 starters to bring back 1. You need some time to rebuild that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because like my man Chop Low right here is saying, no disrespect to him, but Shaman and Payne ain't it. Every other team got young talent that's way better than our bench. And I know people are gonna say, well, then use our young talent, but Dottier and Tyler Hero, they're not there yet. Maybe next year they will.
Tyler Kolek.
Tyler Kolek.
I wish we had Tyler Hero right
Yeah, I
now
wish we had Tyler Hero
off our bench.
right. Bird. You know what I'm saying? So skip artists. It doesn't matter about tenure or continuity with Tibbs. That's very much opposite. Very much opposite. Tom Thibodeau, he plays his guys based on trust, based on his history with them. So that's all about continuity and tenure. All about continuity.
Look at the continued chances that Sims got before he's willingness, you know what I mean, to say, all right, I gotta get rid of him and move in Hukporti. Hukporti had to earn his way up, and Sims had to lose his position, which is not easy to do from Tibbs. You know what I mean? Like he gave him every chance, but that's based off of the years, the trust, the work. You know what I mean? The practices. Is based off of that continuity.
Based off of that. Derrick Rose coming to the team. Taj Gibson coming to the team is all based off of tenure and continuity. People that he's familiar with and knows what he expects. You know what I mean? It's all based off of that. And I think, you know, we forget that. We forget that. You know, the team rose to where it did last year based off of tenure and continuity. We took a step back in that department. Tenure and continuity. We got to regain it. You know what I mean? So no, we don't compete with Boston or OKC or Cleveland right now. Those teams have deeper rosters, better defenses. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think people need to relax a little bit on the Tibbs thing, because as soon as we make a change and put in somebody else and we take a dip, now we're gonna be in this coaching carousel again, looking for the right guy. I think we need to see how it plays out before we just abandon the fact that we're 4th in the NBA. Better than every other team except for those 3.
3 teams, like
right. And yeah, we've got to figure out how we compete with them. But that's the way the NBA goes. Man, know what else? I don't know what else to say. Tomorrow we play Boston. I'll move this along because I know still Knicks fans is either on or about to get on. I want you guys to go join Ron or still Knicks fans when they jump on. Boston tomorrow, man. What are you thinking?
Well, considering I've missed all the blowouts and I'm not gonna be able to watch the game tomorrow, I'm hoping history changes. You know what I mean? I'm hoping we got a fire lit under us. You know what I mean? We can't have two back-to-back performances like this. You know what I mean? So at the very least, gotta compete.
Yeah,
Gotta compete.
gotta compete. That's all I'm looking for now is to compete, to make it competitive. That's what I'm looking for right now. You know what I'm saying? Um, just make the game competitive, not get blown out. It's sad that I have to say it that way, or that we have to say it that way, but that's basically what it is. Be competitive. Don't get blown. You know what I mean? Don't get blown out. I don't even want to. I don't even know what strategy to talk about to beat them. We're the worst 3-point defending team in the league, and they shoot like the most 3-pointers in the league. How do we defend that? That's probably going to be the key to tomorrow's game versus Boston. How do we defend that 3-point line? Have we figured out anything to defend that 3-point line? Because this might be the last meaningful game this season against the Celtics.
Regular season.
Regular. Yeah. Because we'll likely face them in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
This is gonna be a testament to their toughness, mental toughness. You know what I mean? Like pride, all that stuff starts to come into effect. You gotta want it more. You know
right.
what I mean? Like all that. So I do like the fact that we playing these two teams back to back. Not in a back to back, not a double-double.
Not a double-double.
But the fact that
double doubles.
The fact that we're playing them, right after each other, I think that is a good thing. Whether we lose or not, whether we get blown out again, you know what I mean? Like it might be something we need. You know what I mean? Like another reality check.
Yeah.
But
oh man,
I'll get to see the first quarter, so at least I'll know how it's looking. You know what I mean? Like some of these games have been over after the first quarter, so I might know how the game's going.
All I want to see is how we can defend the 3-point line and then compete with them. That's it. That's it. Give me something to draw on as we approach the playoffs.
Take it personal.
Right.
Take the matchup personal. I need Deuce to take Pritchard personal. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you're not having no 30-point off the bench performance. It's my turn. You know what I mean? Lock up one of the two, Brown or Tatum. You know what I mean? Like, don't let them get whatever they want. You know what I mean? Give some resistance.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Deep Public Enemy said Celtics scored 50 in the first quarter last game. They might score 168 points.
Oh, I think you might have missed a super chat too.
Did I?
The last P. Duggar.
I did. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, P. Duggar. I appreciate it. Brilliant. San Antonio with fake benching of Wemby. Now we'll tank for Cooper Flag and watch the ping pong balls recreate a dynasty. We're doing Tibbs' way. I don't know what you want. I don't know.
We ain't got no picks to tank, so
I don't know what you want me to say to that. I appreciate the super chats, though. I definitely do. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say to that. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All I know is the Knicks got to play the Boston Celtics tomorrow, right? The Knicks are trying to climb the ladder, and we are climbing the ladder. Every year, there's going to be teams that are better, teams that are worse, right? The Knicks turned this thing around within the last 4 years. Let's continue to climb. It's not going to all happen at once. It's going to be up and down. Let's continue to climb. You know what I mean? Big comedy say if we continue to guard the 3-point line like we've been doing, we have no chance against Boston, who they believe he believes will win the championship. I agree 100%. If we don't guard that 3-point line, we can't do anything against Boston. Nothing against Boston. You know what I mean? 77 said, hello, Coach Thibodeau. Lauren, what's popping with you, bro? Good morning to you over there. Good morning to you. You know, it's morning time for him. It's like 9 a.m. for him. Good morning. Just woke up and you know, good morning. Hopefully the day is treating you well so far. It's treating us bad because the Knicks lost last night.
Might have to put that on the shirt.
Some of that. Maybe. All right, well, we're going to head up out of here, folks. Make sure you go join Still Knicks fans. The link is pinned to the top of your YouTube chat. All right. He's on live right now. So when you leave here, go on over and join Still Knicks fans. And you know, chop it up over there. Some of the same conversations, some different opinions, though, too. You know what I mean? We appreciate your time. Again, when you get a chance, go check out the new app, website app. Yeah, right there. Yep. NBKFam.app, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out. It's in the beginning, but there'll be some content on there that's only on there. So be ready for that. There's some merchandise on there that you can get only from there right now. Okay, so, you know, go check that out. You know what I mean? And just be ready. It's dope. And it's going to grow. So go check it out. NBKFam.app. Tony, any last words before we get out of here?
Let's get this dub tomorrow.
Yeah.
And hopefully I should be back Monday. You know what I mean? Regular scheduled program.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on, but yeah, should be back Monday.
Yeah, no doubt. We out of here, folks. Peace.
This is NBK. Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.